Hello, welcome to Slow Play. I'm Mitchell.
And I'm Heather.
I just busted like 15 minutes of recording because I just didn't care. Started going down the stories and shit. It just didn't seem like it mattered. I don't know. This whole thing is just like stressing me out. But I've noticed something over the last few weeks, really, in talking to people that I know and stuff about different things. I think something that I have that other people don't have is the ability to just talk about whatever I want to talk about without any kind of shame about it or embarrassment. And other people can't really do that. A lot of people are closed off. They don't really like to talk about their feelings and shit. How do you feel about that? Are you like an open person?
Yeah. I feel like that's probably one of the qualities that draws people to me. I've always been one of those people. My grandpa always used to say about my grandmother that she could make a lifelong friend standing in line at the grocery store. And I've always kind of been that kind of person. Like, I don't know, something I'm very drawn to, like people who are in pain, who are like obviously going through some shit. And giving them an avenue to express their darkest thoughts that they feel like their friends and family cannot handle. And I love being an outlet for that kind of shit. I feel like being a human is filled with so many complex thoughts and ideas, and some of them are contradictory, and you just have to have an outlet for that or you will tear yourself up. At least that's how I feel. Like, I need to be able to openly express the like horrible thoughts that I will never act on but pass through my head, you know?
What is your outlet
and not
for
like my best friend and my boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I have, two people that I can go to, and I feel like I could tell you if I had a horrible thought about something or something that seemed controversial, but you would obviously let me explain myself and not jump to conclusions when the first thing out of my mouth sounds like kind of offensive or...
Right.
I
don't know. I guess my outlet is this podcast, but I hope it's enough because I don't know. I just like think about that's like putting too much pressure on it maybe. Like what is the goal, I guess? How do I get there? Things that I think about all the time butted up against other crap in my regular life. It's like, I don't know. It's hard. It's like I'm having a tough time doing this right now.
I feel like you're having a mini existential crisis.
I mean, that's been like the last 10 years of my life, though.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think about how many years I've wasted or energy that I put into the wrong things, and that sucks. I
do feel more of a sense of urgency lately than ever before.
Yeah. Well, I just love... the one thing that gives me hope is when I was a kid, my grandparents were sort of obsessed with child prodigies. And I always thought like that meant that that's what they expected of me, And as I grew up and was not a child prodigy, I felt all through my 20s like, what's the line from Time? No one told you when to run, and now you've missed the starting gun.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just like I thought there would be a signal or something internally or externally would tell me like, now's the time to start doing projects like XYZ. Now's the time to find your focus and the thing that you're going to do for the next however many years. And nothing ever clicked. So I just kept working the same crappy jobs and pursued some creative stuff here and there, art, but yeah. I don't know. I feel like the time is slipping away. And now I like to read about people who made it in their 40s because that's like, there's something achievable. There's something that, I have I'm 35, and if I'm reading about people who like didn't even publish their first novel or start writing their first novel till they were 40, 45, and now they're, sitting on a tidy pile of cash to do whatever other creative projects they want. That's what I'm aiming for, and I think that's doable if the work gets put in, which is all on me.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just lately starting to feel the urgency, like you're talking about, like you're waiting for like the signal or whatever, either from something outside or from within yourself. I feel like I'm lately starting to get there. I'm 34 years old, so basically the same thing. And the number of things in my life that I've started and given up on, I'm like really bad at like seeing things through, which is also like compounds the anxiety of like, well, even if I try to do something good, there's always the thought that like, well, I'm just going to give up on this fucking shit too, so why even bother?
That is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do you think you like psych yourself out by being a perfectionist? Do you expect such a high level of performance out of yourself that you could never possibly meet this ideal?
No, I don't think that's it, because I don't think that's it. I would be fine with a level of mediocrity, but I can't even get there.
Oh God.
I've learned I've tried to learn to like play instruments before, and it never works.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like a horrible habit in myself. That probably has something to do with the way I was raised. I'm just spinning my wheels over and over again. And kind of the big thing for me this upcoming year is to buy a house. That's what I would like to do as a show of some kind of progress in my life, which, I mean, I guess my life is like progressed just fine up to this point. I mean, I've achieved some things, but none of it is fulfilling. That's like part of the curse of like achieving your goals, is that you have this ideal of like, well, once I get to this point, then I'll feel good. Or once I get to that point, then I'll feel good.
Yeah.
And then the more of these things that you do and nothing changes, the more it just feels like, I guess I'm just never going to feel good.
Well, you have to like channel that into motivation, which we talked about that before. Like some people just naturally know how to do that. They know how to turn dissatisfaction with themselves into fuel. And I've never learned how to do that with much success. A little bit, like small things.
I don't hate myself enough then.
Yeah.
My life is too good, but it's not even like it's too right in the fucking middle.
Yeah.
My life is too right down the middle.
Yeah. You're not doing bad.
No, it's good enough to where I don't need to strive for more.
Yeah.
But it's not good enough that I'm happy. So instead I'm just floating in the middle, accomplishing nothing and feeling like crap every day.
I start down this road in my own head and I think, should I go back on antidepressants?
People are probably thinking this all the time.
Yeah.
That's why my gift to you, the person watching this right now, is me talking about it right now. Whenever I was in school, it was always like, the goal is to finish school. There's always like a clear path. Finish the next grade, get to school, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I graduated from school, and then it's like, okay, get a job. Did that. And then it's like, okay, get a place to live and become self-reliant and shit. And I did all that. And then after you get to that, you're only like a third of the way through your life, but you've gone as far as you can go with the path.
Right.
So after that, it's just like, what next? I have a list of like goals in my mind that I would like to achieve. But then it's also like, to what end? Because like for like, I would like to be famous. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you characterize that exactly, but I'll know it when it happens.
Yeah.
Like someone that like could be a guest on a talk show or something.
Yeah.
Someone that has at least enough level of fame to where people know me and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But to what end? Because ultimately, part of this comes from like not really believing in fucking an afterlife and shit. I know you don't at all. Mm-mm. So knowing that all this is bullshit, none of it matters, is partly like, what's the point in even striving for anything then?
Well, I see it the other way, even though I do not live it. This is my goal, is to see it the opposite way, which is, why not just throw yourself into whatever thing looks like it will make you happy then, if nothing fucking matters? You know, why not go the opposite end of the spectrum with it and lose all fear, lose all hesitation, and just like go for something? But what's the thing?
Because none of it matters.
Yeah, but if it makes you happy, that is what matters. Like, I keep finding myself thinking YOLO, which is fucking stupid. I'm sorry. But this is our one chance to do whatever it is we want to do. And then that's it.
There's something about me that I am unable to crack that other people have figured out for themselves. Like, I don't understand how people can like work all the time. Some people are really good at that shit, and I just am really bad at it. I'm like good at like the bare minimum. I'm good at coasting.
Yeah.
I'm not good at like doing things that I don't have to do.
Right.
Like, I'm like a slob in my daily life. Like, my apartment is always shitty because I don't care, because I don't see the value in living in a clean apartment. But there's people out there that like to keep their shit looking nice just for them, which to me is crazy because I don't understand why it matters. So it's like, that's like just an example, but it applies to like all facets of my life, where it's like, I don't understand what the end game is. Therefore, it's hard to get motivated.
Well,
what am I really trying to achieve here? I can put a face on it. Like, I would like to have a lot of money. I would like to be famous. But then what? Because I know that even when I get to that point, I'm just going to be asking myself the same question. What now? What now? Now I did this. What now? I finished school. I got the job. I fucking moved into the apartment and shit. Now I want to move into a house, and it's the same thing. In my mind now, it's like, if I move into a house, then I can cross that off the list. But it's just going to be the same thing, only I'll be sitting in a house. I'll still be having this exact same conversation, only instead of my shitty apartment, I'll be in my house.
Right.
But nothing will truly have felt achieved.
I don't know.
I think. I suspect.
I think about meditating. I think about going back on medication. I think about cutting all of my vices out of my life. I think about, what can I be doing that is making me so tired and just kind of blah. But, you know, it's the roller coaster. I have ups and downs, and even though I'm, you know, maybe on the bottom half of the scale most of the time, the ups make it worth it, like, to keep going, keep trying to get something out of this experience.
Yeah, I probably, this is like another thing of like, I guess I should go get diagnosed with whatever is up with me, because something is definitely going on here.
Well, you're talking about like people with like spotlessly clean apartments.
Yeah.
That could be neuroses expressing itself in the way that brings them comfort. So, for me, I'm on your side. I don't care that much about how clean my house is as much as how comfortable it is to me.
People always look at my apartment and say why that it looks crazy that I don't have any like decorations and shit on the walls. And for me, it's always been this thing of like, well, I know I'm not going to die in this apartment. Like eventually I will move out. Mm-hmm. So what's the point in decorating anything? And I'm telling you, even I've lived in this apartment for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And even if you told me on the day that I moved in, you're going to be living here for 7 years, I would still say, not worth it. Not worth putting a picture on the wall. I'm just going to move out in 7 years anyway. Who cares?
I just watched an episode of Queer Eye where they were helping this guy redo his apartment, and it was bare, no artwork on the walls, not very much furniture. I don't even think he had a bed. And they were talking to him about his feeling about living in the apartment like he was living with one foot out the door, and that he needed to build an environment, basically nest, because even if he was only going to be living there for 6 more months, you need to be surrounded by things that make you feel like yourself. Like, it's good for your mental health to have reassuring things around you.
I find that so hard to believe.
Yeah, and also have committed to your life and who you are right now, not what you plan to be, but who you actually are. And I don't know, that's kind of like mindfulness, and
it's probably true. It's just hard for me to believe because I'm such a robot.
Yeah. Well,
I have like no sentimentality. So the idea of like, I'm going to put this plant up so it feels more like home.
Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense to me.
For me, it was just like, I've always loved art. So I just found all of the art pieces that I liked and printed them out and hung them up on my walls. And now I have always something interesting to look at and something that makes me feel however I want to feel when I look at the art in my house.
My mind, I tell myself that I'll start doing that when I get a house, and maybe I will, but it's hard for me to imagine that having any kind of impact on my mental state. I mean, I guess we'll find out, but I'm just such a lazy turd. I'm like the dumbest smart person I've ever known.
I feel the same way. I'm like, I don't know how to kick my own ass. I don't know how to be a person.
I don't know how to be a person. That's exactly what it is. I feel, and you're more of a person than I am.
But I contest that everyone...
I can't even wear clothes like a human.
I feel like everyone feels this way, and everybody just has different ways of coping with it. And some people just make themselves really, really busy so they don't ever have a moment to think about.
Why not me? That's what I want. That's the kind of anxiety I want. The kind where I stay, where at least, even if I'm tortured inside, I'm at least like making millions of dollars or something.
Go get a prescription for Ritalin and get some shit done.
Maybe.
That's my...
I do feel like I need to like
advice.
go get checked out just so I know what the whole deal is. Because people have told me that I'm depressed. I don't know. But something is definitely going on.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I have a whole cocktail of disorders that have never been diagnosed.
Yeah.
Because I've never been to a doctor like that.
Well, for me, it's always been like a general sense of, I don't know, disillusionment and discomfort. And I don't like the way that the people around me are. And I don't find it easy to relate to the kind of culture that I live in, or really the culture anywhere. I don't know. I just feel like you have the ICP stuff, and I don't know where my group is, but I don't know if that helps you.
It does.
Yeah.
So it feels like a clue. It feels like there's something about that I can use to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, it's the one thing in my life that makes me feel good. So if I can figure out what it is about it that makes me feel good and apply that on a bigger spectrum, maybe I'll get closer to figuring this out.
You could do PR for the band.
I've wanted to work for them before.
Yeah.
Like, there's been times where I've handed them resumes and shit. I've like sent in stuff to the ICP headquarters and shit.
Yeah.
And then it hit a point where it was like, no, I don't want to work for them. I want to do what they did.
Right.
Because, they didn't go out handing out resumes to like their favorite artists.
Yeah.
They went and they were inspired by their favorite artists to do their own thing, which is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, I also want to start a revolution.
Yeah.
But
it would be great. If they can do it, then it's not impossible.
Yeah.
They're not on paper aren't like the ideal candidates for starting a revolution. So I don't know. I have a lot of issues in like the way I relate to people. I have a tough time connecting to people. It's why like I've never had an easy time with like relationships and stuff with women, because it's hard enough to even find a woman that I connect with or even wants to connect with me. And then when that happens, I just can't pull the trigger on it. Like, I can't, even when I'm in good relationships with good, normal, healthy women, for some reason I still can't connect with them. And I don't know why. And it kind of tortures me.
It may be, seems weird to say about you, but maybe your lack of shame is sort of makes you invulnerable.
Go on.
Like if there's
feel invulnerable.
If there's no part of you that you are afraid to have exposed, then how do you be vulnerable? How do you make yourself vulnerable? And I feel like I'm the same way. It's kind of a shield. It's kind of like, well, I don't care what anybody knows about me because I already know it about myself and it can't hurt me. So, but
wow, this is interesting. I think you're touching on something interesting here. I can't connect in my relationships because part of that requires being vulnerable. And I can't do that because I have no shame.
Right.
So what is the lesson here? I need to have more shame?
I would say...
Or is there some like deeper level in me that like even I don't know about?
Maybe.
I don't think I even have anything crazy enough that I could share here right now that would mean anything to anyone. Like, my life is just so fucking boring.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that there are exercises. There's probably some cognitive behavioral therapy exercises on how to make yourself more vulnerable in a relationship, or some Psychology Today article knocking it out in bullet points. But, I mean, if you want to seek the guidance of a professional, I would totally recommend that. Try it out. See what you learn.
It's just like last week when we were recording this show, it was like a perfect show to me. Like that show was like everything that I thought that this show should be. So this week I kind of wanted to replicate that by like having something interesting to talk about up top, and then go on to the topics, and then go on to just like a wild card topic. Like, that's pretty much how last week's episode was.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that again this week, except when I thought about it, I realized that I didn't have anything interesting to talk about. Like last week, we both had like gone and done some interesting shit. So we were able to talk about that on the podcast. But this week, it's like, well, this was just a regular boring ass bullshit week for me. So that kind of ruins the whole thing. Like, how do I get on here and talk about what I did this week if I didn't do jack fucking shit? I don't know. Let's try it. What did I do this week? I went to work. I played some video games.
Probably slept some.
Yeah. That was good.
Went to the bathroom a few times.
A handful of times. This blows. Am I just not leading an interesting enough life? Would that help? Because I felt good last week.
I don't know. I mean, some podcasts are just people talking about all the video games that they play.
And most of them are not good.
Yeah.
How do people have time to go do shit when they're at work all day? This is what drives me crazy about sitcoms. And I think one of several reasons that I feel like TV is the reason that most people are so depressed. It paints this image of like life that is completely unattainable. So like on a typical sitcom, when you see all the characters like hanging out after work and getting into adventures and shit, but you rarely ever actually see them at work unless it's about the adventures they're having at work.
Yeah.
But you rarely. I want to. Here's a avant-garde type of show that I don't believe has ever been done. A real reality show, but I mean like scripted still, but like really showing the reality of life. And I'm talking
the boring monotony.
I'm talking an entire season-long arc of a person sleeping in real time. And
Truman Show.
Getting up. But even the Truman Show was manipulated to be more interesting than as real life.
That's true.
I'm talking
a
man getting up in the morning and taking a shower. And how long does that take? 20 minutes? Bam, that's your first episode. And that's how fucking boring life really is. Because when you watch the shit like How I Met Your Mother or whatever, and they're fucking so worried about the girl they met at the party and they didn't get her number, so let's throw a new party and invite her again and all this shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's a real episode.
Yeah.
It's like, where do you have the time? Because all I can think about when I get off work is fucking what I'm going to eat for dinner and what time I should go to bed.
Same.
Are people living this life like that where you fucking work of an 8-hour workday and then you actually go hang out with your friends?
Dude, they have kids. That's what they do when they get home.
Who?
Most people.
Not me. I don't do jack shit.
Well, I hope they're not doing their kids, but you know what I mean.
Right. I did like Seinfeld. It was less like, where do you get the time? For fuck's sakes, you really gonna go to your friend's apartment every day?
Yeah. Well,
fuck that. I'm lucky to fucking. I wouldn't even be doing this podcast if you didn't come over here every week. I'm not trying to leave the house every single week.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, every damn day, George is knocking on Jerry's door. Hey, let's fucking hang out.
Yeah.
Let's go on a fucking adventure.
I feel like I want to put out a question to all of the like high energy people out there who are like worked full time and got their master's degree. Like that kind of stuff blows my mind. I have, several friends who did that or have like multiple degrees and they've always had a job while they were going to school. And I can't, where do you get the energy for that?
I don't know. Need to get one of these successful people on this show. My whole family is super successful people, except me. I'm the most unsuccessful person in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing fine. Me being the least successful person in my family actually like probably speaks positively to my family because I'm doing fine. So it's like, if I'm the lowest person on the totem pole, then we're doing all right. But the point is, they're all doing way better than I am. So why not me? Why are they so able to work hard at shit and I can't do it?
I don't know. We're just low energy people.
Whenever I was in college, my roommate was prescribed to Adderall, and he would sell it to me sometimes. And that was a big part of how I got through college, was not paying attention at all until like the day before a test, and then popping one of those Adderall and studying for like 18 straight hours.
Yeah, tons of people
passing
did
the
that.
tests and then forgetting everything the next day. But when I was on that shit, I was laser focused.
Yeah.
And I know that if you don't need Adderall and you take it, then it has the opposite effect. It like speeds you up. This is what I've heard.
Well, speed is speed. I mean, it's just legal speed. If you are ADD and you do cocaine, you get high. If you are not ADD and you take cocaine, you get high the same way.
From what I've heard, if you take Adderall and you don't need it, then it does the opposite. Like you can't focus on anything. You just start going crazy.
Yeah, no, I've always known people who like didn't even have ADD or never were diagnosed with anything like that take it to study. I mean,
but they probably needed it then. They probably could have been diagnosed with it.
I don't know. It's just been a successful study tool for so many people buying it off of kids.
I don't know, but it helped me out. It made me feel like I could pay attention. Maybe I need to fucking get on this legal weed shit.
Well,
this is probably part of my problem too. I don't have any weed. It stresses me out.
Yeah. Well, I think
if I were high right now, this is probably a very different conversation.
I've been thinking about getting back on Adderall myself. I used to take it. I took it from the time I was 8 years old until all the way through high school. And I know back then, when I was 8, it probably was not the right option, because when you're 8, you're still learning how to self-regulate your behavior and your emotions. And having drugs do the regulating for you doesn't teach you anything. So that was probably bad. But knowing how it feels to take all of those drugs and what it made me feel like back then, that's what I feel like is missing from my life now. Is just, I do not have the energy when I get home from work. All I'm thinking about is, when do I get to go to sleep? And it really sucks for Robert, because he's not like a super high energy person, but he's not where I'm at. You know, he wants to spend time with me and go do fun things. And I'm just like, let's just sit here again.
Yeah. Let's just sit here. Why can't, like, even like when I want to like go out with a girl or whatever, and it's like, the part that I fucking hate about that is figuring out what you're going to go do. Because if I wanted to keep it super real with them, I'd be like, I don't want to do shit. Why don't you just come to my apartment? But you can't really do that, because then that has its own like weird look to it.
Like, are you cheap? What are you trying to get out of this?
Am I trying to just get her to come over? But it's like, it's a bad look, so I can't even say what I really want to say, which is like, just come over to my apartment and we'll smoke weed and play Super Nintendo games from my childhood.
Yeah.
I imagine the perfect woman for me out there would love that. Only her and I will never find each other, because we're too busy sleeping and going to work and not wanting to leave the house.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't want to go on pills. Do you not feel weird about that?
I do. Like, I mean, even at 35, I wonder, like, am I now again repeating the thing of like not learning to self-regulate by supplementing my moods with drugs? But like, it's too late. Like, I'm in a pattern now. I know what I'm like. I know who I am, and this is not changing. This is consistent throughout my life, that I have struggled to have the energy to keep up with everyone else. And I mean, you could chalk it up to depression, but it happens when I don't feel depressed. I still, even when I'm happy, I just want to sleep all the time. Like, I'm still tired. I'm still like, I will happily go home and be alone and play video games and do nothing. So, I don't know. Drugs might be the answer.
That was the thing that I feel like everyone gets wrong about alcoholism, because I had a huge alcohol dependency issue for a long time. And every time you see it on TV, it's always like people drinking when they're depressed, or like sober people relapsing because something bad happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
Where to me, it was like good days were the days I wanted to drink the most. To
Yeah.
be like, fuck yeah, let's fucking, now I'm going to drink and make this day even better.
Yeah, you're a celebratory drunk.
Or, I mean, it didn't have to be celebratory,
Yeah.
but it's just like, it wasn't like a thing of like, oh, I'm so sad, I need a drink. Although there was some of that too, but I would say it was like 50-50.
Yeah.
Whereas on TV, you rarely ever see the side of like the sober person struggling with sobriety because he's having a good day.
Right.
Which I think is, to me, that's reality more days than the opposite. So I don't know what it is about me not wanting to go on pills. I can't figure that out. It's something I've always had a problem with. Like, I've never felt good about taking antidepressants or anything just because something about it feels like cheating, I guess.
I was about to say that. I was like, because it feels like you're cheating the system because you're supposed to just grow up and learn how to do everything the right way. I don't know.
I feel like I would, in my mind, I feel like I would be a better, stronger person if I could deal with the. I don't want to. Here's part of it. I think I feel like if I get like dependent on a medication, then there's always the fear of like, well, what happens if you're out on vacation and you forget to bring your medication with you or something?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the fact that I don't want to. I would hate to feel like I'm in a position where I need it. But apparently the way that I'm doing it isn't working either. So it's like, for fuck's sakes.
It's just like, when are we going to get the fucking blood test to tell us what is wrong with us? Like, that's what
I don't even
sucks
think I
about
need
all
a
this.
blood test. I think I could talk to like a trained doctor and he would be able to tell me, or she, the doctor was a woman. I think that they could be like, you have fucking OCD and ADD and depression and anxiety and autism or whatever. I mean, I don't even know what. I think I have a whole mixture. I don't know if you've noticed, but every time I record myself doing anything, I'm picking at my hands the entire fucking time. So that's obviously not normal. OCD, I guess, but there's something going on with me, and there always has been. I've always felt weird. Mm-hmm. And I know people in my family are going to hear this and say that I need to go to a doctor. And maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't need anyone telling me what to do, though. Yeah. I'll arrive at that conclusion on my own. But for having an entire lifetime of saying I'm never going to do that, to now being like, maybe I should do that, even that is like a breakthrough. Yeah. Even though I still probably won't. I don't know. I'm one step closer to doing it by considering that I probably should.
I think talking to just a therapist who doesn't prescribe drugs would be a good starting point.
I don't even want a doctor to cure me. I just want them to tell me what's up with me.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to doctors and been like, okay, I cannot stand to be anxious anymore. Like, you've got to give me something that is for anxiety, and they'll try to give me something that's a combination antidepressant and anxiety, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. If you take away my depression, I won't be funny anymore. I can handle being depressed. I cannot handle feeling scared all the time. That's what fucking sucks. So I go on and off this anxiety medication every once in a while when I feel like I need it, and it's like a really mild thing, but it's not like Xanax or something. It's just Buspar. But that does help, and it doesn't dull my wits like some of the other medications I've taken. So it may just be a matter of you finding something that brings you slightly up and that you can't really feel.
Does weed count?
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Well, see, you're already altering your brain chemistry and kind of cheating.
I know. Why is it? What is the delineation in my mind? Maybe just because weed just comes out of the ground, so it doesn't seem like as much of a drug.
Maybe you've already accepted the social stigma attached to weed and been like, fuck that, I don't care what anyone thinks. But whenever it comes to taking psychiatric meds, you still haven't bucked the stigma off of it in your head.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to fucking look into this legal weed shit and try it, I guess.
Yeah. I've been reading some about CBD oil.
I've tried it and I didn't feel shit.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I've tried it and I couldn't tell really any difference, but it may be something that you have to take every day for a while.
That's what everyone told me, and I did do that, and I never felt shit.
The thing I like about the Buse bar that I've taken is that after taking it for a few days, I just start to feel slightly less freaked out, and that's it. Like, that is the only change to my
that sounds
feelings.
Pretty good, though.
Yeah. It's barely even noticeable.
There's times in my life where I feel great about what I'm doing. So there is a way to get there. I just need to, like, write it every time I'm feeling good. Write down or take at least like a mental snapshot of my circumstances and then try to find the pattern, I guess. What is it about these days that I feel good and what is it about these days that I feel bad? And then maybe I can figure out how to hold on to the good ones.
Well, they make worksheets for that. They're
okay.
They're called ABC worksheets. They use them in cognitive behavioral therapy, which you can just get one off the internet and fill it out every day. You know, but it's would
that be interesting for people on this show to hear about?
Well, it's ABC action, behavior, choice. I can't remember, but it's like the event that happened, how you responded to it, what you did, and then the outcome of that situation. And then, or it could just be like your day. It doesn't have to be an event, but you fill out one of those every day. Make sure you keep track of the dates. Go back and look through and see if, you can even like draw a sad face in the corner or a happy face or a blah face. So that way you can flip through it and be like, I was sad for a solid month. Mm-hmm. What was going on during that month,
Yeah. Okay. Last week I felt good all week. After doing last week's podcast, I felt really good like all week.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I had something really good there. But the reason that episode was so good was because I had something interesting to talk about that week. So maybe something like that. Do more interesting shit, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm in a lot of weird fucking situations right now that I can't even talk about like on the air because other people are involved and I don't want to, invade their privacy.
Right.
But it's just like things that just remind me that I'm not fucking living life like a normal person. But who's to say? Because where are our ideas of a normal life coming from? Television.
Yeah.
Television and movies and books
and whatever
and music.
Our parents tell us is normal.
Yeah, which in my case was clearly not normal.
Yeah.
Your situation as well. And it's like, I don't know, whatever it, like I see pictures and I know social media is another fucking reason that everyone feels like shit all the time because they're seeing like the best version of everyone's life.
Yeah.
But I'm a victim of this as well because I look at like people going places and doing things and I just look at that like, where do you have the time?
How'd you get the money? That's what I always think.
Where'd you get the money?
Man,
Where did you?
I'm like, a trip to Italy wouldn't cure it for me, but like moving to Italy, what if that did it? Or what if it was just for a year and that was distracting enough to keep me from being depressed for a year. And then I, moved to Germany or whatever. But that requires the pile of money to get started. So
how does one attain the pile of money? I don't know. Like earlier, I've been feeling this anxiety all day today to the point where like if you weren't doing the show with me, if there wasn't another person involved, I'd just be like, fuck the show this week. I can't do it.
No, I feel the same way. That's why it's good. It's good to have a partner that's like, well, I better not let Mitch down. And
that's how I feel about you. Yeah. I don't want to let you down. And like I was feeling this all day to the point where I went on my other YouTube channel, my Juggalo shit, and did some streaming for like 3 hours because people like watching it. And I had a whole bunch of people on. There was like 5 other people up there with me that jumped on the stream with me, and we were just talking Juggalo shit for hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I need to bottle that somehow and apply it to all things in my life, but I'm just struggling. Every time something seems good, it gets all fucked up.
Yeah. Well, one of the symptoms of depression that it's like the telltale symptom. One of them is losing interest in things that once brought you joy.
Okay.
And I'm like, what things were supposed to be bringing me joy?
That's what I was
because I haven't had interest in much. Like, I mean, I've gotten really, really passionate about a few things, and then eventually either whatever the thing is over, or I slowly lose interest in it, or berate myself in my head over not committing as much time, energy as I did when I first started it. And then once the guilt snowballs, that's it.
Yeah, there was a big chunk of time in my life where I felt incredibly depressed, bad, and this mostly was through college, or at least the first few years of college, but really all of it, I guess. And I felt really depressed. Like I couldn't even go on with my day because I was just felt like shit.
Yeah.
And then things went all right for a while after I graduated college and stuff. And then at some point years later, I started just feeling numb. So I categorize that as like a step up. Like, well, I used to be depressed and now I just don't feel shit. So I guess that's an improvement.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was an improvement or I thought I was taking that to be a step up, but maybe it was actually a step down.
I think that might have been some of the alcohol too.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then very recently, as of like, I don't know when it picked up, but within this year, it's like it's gone down. The bottom has fallen out again, and now I'm just like getting depressed again.
Are we going through a midlife crisis?
I'm going through a crisis because my life sucks.
Yeah.
I guess.
But it doesn't suck.
No, I know. That's
the thing. It's just like, it could be so much worse.
It doesn't suck, but it's not good enough. I know people in my family are going to be listening to this and getting weird about it, but please don't talk to me about it.
Yeah.
If you're hearing what I'm saying right now, please just don't talk to me about it. I know, like, I'm feeling the anxiety now of like ending this because then I'll just go back to the bullshit of my life. This is like the most interesting thing about me right now, what we're doing right here. As soon as I stop recording, it goes away for the week. I mean, if I'm going to do a weird tangent like this, I guess it's best to do it early on in this show's life before people actually start listening.
Well, I feel like the overall message here is something that most people in our age group can absolutely connect with. And a lot of people really find meaning in their kids. And if they hadn't had them, like what would they be doing?
So I need to go impregnate somebody.
No.
I probably would
that's
be
not
happier.
The answer. I don't think that's the answer.
If I would have...
It has to be something you want for it to have the desired effect.
The bigger picture is like, what can I do to give a meaningless world some meaning? It's hard when you don't particularly believe in an afterlife because it just makes everything seem fucking pointless.
That's what I keep saying though. Like you have to embrace the pointlessness. You have to realize that like your only job in this life is to make it fun for yourself. So how do you do that?
Well, I disagree with your premise here because if there's nothing else beyond this life, then what's the point in making it fun? Because it's not going to matter.
Well,
it could be fun or not fun. Either way, it didn't matter in the end.
Either that or just like kill yourself and get it over with. But I would like to try to enjoy it. Like I know what feeling good feels like and I like that. So I don't know. Some days I don't feel like it's worth it. But
I don't know. I have a huge problem with motivation. What motivates me? I don't know.
food
No,
and sleep.
not really.
No?
I've had this thought before. Like, if this is so stupid, but I swear that it makes sense to me. If Nicki Minaj were ever to say to me, like, give me $1 million and you can fuck me, I believe that I could go get that $1 million. I truly believe that I did.
That
I
would
could.
motivate you.
It would. I honestly believe that I could. But when I'm just trying to get it for me, or like something just on good faith that, like, you know, put in the work now and it'll pay off in the end, if for some intangible reason, I can't do it. What I need is the Nicki Minaj telling me, do X, then Y.
Yeah.
Get this $1 million and you can fuck me. Then I would be like, you got it. And I would figure it out.
Would you then get the $1 million and be like, no, I'm going to spend it on something else?
No, well, hold on. She's not a hooker. She's just saying, get it and you can fuck me. She's not saying, get it. Okay. She has her own $1 million. She doesn't need me.
No.
But that's like something I can put a face on. Banging Nicki Minaj. I need to find my banging Nicki Minaj in life, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what. Nicki Minaj, if you could make me that deal, it would really help me out. Because then I would at least have some kind of goal. Fuck, I don't know what the goal is. That's the problem. What is the goal? When nothing matters, what is a goal when nothing matters?
Yeah, what are you going to do with your $1 million once you hit the goal? Then what? I don't know. I think it'd be pretty happy finding ways to spend $1 million.
So I don't know. I feel like the biggest takeaway right now is just that I need to become a more interesting person. Maybe that would make me happier. Become a more interesting person so I have more interesting shit to talk about on this show.
Yeah.
That's at least like a goal, like make the show better.
Yeah.
It's not fucking Nicki Minaj, but at least it's something I can put a face on.
Yeah. One thing that is good about what we're doing is, like, today is a new day. Like, if this episode sucks, next week maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be really good. Like, you just can't live in the present based on the future or the past.
That was the thinker. I had to wrap my head around it. Like, I've talked about this on the show, but I've lost a whole bunch of weight over the last few years. And when I was at my fattest, I weighed 245. And I was like, I'm going to lose this weight. And I did. And I don't feel any different. So, like, what is the point? I don't understand the point of, like, achieving shit. Because it doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Well, I got really overweight for a little bit there in college. And I don't know, one day I just, like, got disgusted with myself and decided to go. My friend suggested that we go rock climbing at the park out here. That's Chandler Park. It's got outdoor rock climbing, which I prefer to a wall anyway. So we went, and I just got addicted to it. I would go 3 times a week, 3 hours a time. Like, I was exercising 9 or 10 hours a week, and it felt like a breeze. It felt like nothing. It felt like fun. And then once I lost all that weight, I was just like, man, I could fucking survive the zombie apocalypse just by climbing a tree right now. Like, I feel confident in my body, and not like the way it looks, but like what I can do. Like, I can climb a fucking vertical wall at least 35 feet with no ropes or anything. Like, that's a cool feeling. Just having had a goal in mind, met that goal, and it been like a physical thing that I can be like, here's a before and an after picture of like what I did. But it was really more about just knowing that I had it in me to commit to a thing and make myself do it.
Well,
kind of like quitting smoking has been for me too. Or like you lost the weight, you quit drinking. Like you have it inside you. If you decide, like really make a hard choice, I am not going to fucking do this to myself anymore.
But I don't feel any different. I lost all the weight, and I feel like now I ask myself, why did I do that? Because it didn't matter. Nothing has changed. Except for my shirts don't fit anymore. That's all I achieved.
I'm gonna put on 40 pounds so that my clothes fit me right. Yeah.
All I've achieved was making my clothes not fit anymore.
It's all gonna be okay. Or not.
I don't know why you said that. Well, what else do you have to add, or is that it?
Just the existentialism, the idea that life doesn't have any meaning beyond the meaning that you give it doesn't have to be a negative. I think you could change your perspective. I think that you just need, maybe you have to like hit your rock bottom to find the motivation to dig out.
Okay. I don't know how to dig out. I feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to do.
Reach out. I mean, if this is going up, then that's going to get you some feedback from people, I'm sure, who have gone through the same thing that you're experiencing, which is like almost every person.
I don't want people reaching out about this shit to be like, hey man, I support you. I don't want to hear that shit. So if anyone's listening and they feel compelled to like reach out, don't do it because I don't want it. It's just going to make me uncomfortable. What
if they have a really good idea about what you can do to turn it around?
Only come to me with good ideas. Okay. Don't come to me to just be like, hey man, I'm here for you.
Solidarity.
Don't come to me unless you have a solution. And even then, your solution probably sucks. So don't feel bad if I don't listen to you because I'm probably not going to be into whatever you're selling.
I'll take your empty gestures of emotional support.
She will. I don't want it. I need that weed. That's what I'm going to do.
The medical weed.
That's what I'm going to do.
That's going to cure what ails you.
It usually does.
Yeah.
I haven't had any weed in a while, so that's probably why I'm fucking losing it over here.
Yeah. I did it for years, and then I quit cold turkey, and I had to like go get medication because I was going to lose my goddamn mind. I was having panic attacks, couldn't sleep, had no appetite, like was just on edge all the time. I couldn't even, like, I would space out and just sit and stare at my wall for like 2 hours instead of watching TV. I like TV off, just staring. It was bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's an answer for you. I know there is. I just don't know what it is.
Okay. I just need to figure it out then.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Put in some work.
First thing I'm going to do is get some weed.
Okay.
I think that'll help. So, stay tuned for that, I guess. I guess that's it.
Excuse our paradigm shift.
What do you mean?
From the normal episode format.
What is the normal episode format? There's only 5 episodes now. I'm making the rules. This is my shit. This is what had to be talked about this week, and it probably will come up again. So, thanks for bearing with me and basically just throwing out all the topics that I had already planned to talk about. Just been losing my mind lately.
No problem.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to wrap this up then.
All right.
Go to Slow Play Online and the social media and shit, the Facebook page. See if there's something good on there that you can share. Something I really need to start pushing on people is to share the content. So if you see like an episode that you like or something funny on the page that you like, share it or like it or comment it or something, because it's the only way that this crap is going to spread around. So I would appreciate that. And I guess goodbye.
Goodbye.